It's 7 o'clock. If you'll stand, we'll be led in prayer by Commissioner Maddox.
Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to come together tonight, Lord. I pray that you would continue to be with the leaders of our county, Lord, and be with the fine folks that live within Bedford County, Lord. And thank you for this wonderful place that we call home. Lord, most of all, I thank you for Jesus Christ that died on the cross for us, Lord. I pray that you continue to watch over us, take care of us, protect those that serve. It's your name I pray, dear Lord. Amen.
Man, thank you for that. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the meeting will officially be opened by Austin Swing, our sheriff.
Hear ye, the Bedford County Board of Commissioners is now in session. The Honorable Mayor, Chad Graham, is presiding.
Thank you. Be seated. All right, we'll have roll call by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Commissioner Boutwell? Commissioner Boyette? Commissioner Brothers?
Here.
Commissioner Epperson?
Here.
Commissioner Fair?
Here.
Commissioner Hooker?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Maddox?
Here.
Commissioner Neely? Commissioner Pinson?
Here.
Commissioner Sanders?
Here.
Commissioner Smith? Commissioner Adam Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Mark Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Vick?
Here.
Commissioner Yaki?
Here.
18 present, 0 absent.
All right, first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 13th commission meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, next item is elections and confirmations, notaries.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Any other? Janice. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're moving on. Presentations, nothing to report here. Resolutions, none tonight. So we're ready for our standing committees. Rules and Legislative Committee, placement of the open commission committee seats. Before we get going on this, I was speaking to the chairman of the Rules Committee, Commissioner Fair, prior to the meeting, and his suggestion was that we change the order. It's actually on your agenda as rules being first, courthouse and property second, law enforcement third, and finance fourth. There will be nominations from the floor besides what the request from the individuals was. He felt like that it made the most sense to start with the Financial Management Committee position because there's 3 names for sure that want to be considered for that position of the new commissioners. And there also, again, you'll have the opportunity from the floor to make additional recommendations or nominations for that. So is there any objection to just changing the order? Now, understanding each of these have got to get 10 votes. If there's multiple people being considered, they have to have 10 votes to be placed in that position. If there's more than 2, the one with the least amount of votes would drop if there's nobody gets to 10, and then you would vote again. Again, this is part of the standard procedures of voting here on the floor. All right, so if there's no objection, we'll start then first with the Financial Management Committee. There's 1 slot that is open there. Of the request by the 7 new commissioners, there were 3 commissioners that put forward as their very first choice for consideration, and that was Commissioner Scott Johnson, Commissioner Diane Neely, and Commissioner John Boutwell. Now, so that officially puts those 3 names in nomination for consideration for this one position, and then the floor is open if any commissioner would like to add any additional names for consideration for that. Okay, parliamentarian says I need to have Biff name those 3 names off to you, so let me do that first.
Okay, from the 4th District is Diane Neely. She listed Financial Management 1. From the 5th District, Scott Johnson. He listed Financial Management number 1. And from the 8th District, John Boutwell listed Financial Management number 1. So I submit those 3 to be elected.
Okay. I'm sorry about the confusion. So is everybody clear, understanding that the 3 are on the floor? Now the floor is open for any of the commissioners to nominate up to 1 additional name per commissioner. Is there any nominations be added. All right, hearing none, then we'll close the nominations and then we'll take a vote. It's a roll call vote. When your name's called, there's only one slot in this particular committee to be filled, so you'll be only giving one name. Are you in agreement with that? All right, so when your name's called, vote for the name that you wish to serve till January, at least till January, on the particular committee. Again, this committee you're voting for is the Financial Management Committee. So we've flipped the order, so understand that you're voting for the slot for Financial Management Committee. All right?
Commissioner Boutwell, Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Mr. Johnson.
Commissioner Vick,
Mr. Johnson.
Commissioner Pinson, Commissioner Brothers,
Johnson.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Johnson.
Commissioner Boyette,
Johnson.
Commissioner Yockey,
Johnson.
Commissioner Hooker,
Commissioner Neely.
Commissioner Anderson,
Commissioner Neely.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Sanders,
Johnson.
Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Maddox,
Commissioner Neely.
Commissioner Neely, Commissioner Thompson,
Neely.
Commissioner Fair,
Diane Neely.
Commissioner Epperson.
Commissioner Neely.
Does anyone wish to change your vote? Commissioner Johnson, 10 votes. Commissioner Neely, 7 votes. Commissioner Boutwell, 1 vote.
All right, so the next slot that we will vote on is the Rules and Legislative Committee slot. So Commissioner Fair.
Okay, so we've got one seated. We've got Drew Hooker listed Rules and Legislative 1. Scott Johnson did, but he's been elected to the Finance Management, so he's been placed. We can look over the same. I'm assuming.
We're going with first choice,
Yeah,
right? So this was the
yes.
only one with the first choice being Rules and Legislative?
Yes.
All right. So is there nominations from the floor, additional consideration for
Yes.
Rules and
Yes,
Commissioner
Mr. Chairman,
Vick?
I nominate Mr. John Boutwell.
Now, this is Rules and Legislative Committee. You understand that? That's what you're nominating, okay? All right. Is there other nominations for consideration of Rules and Legislative Committee? Again, there's one slot to be considered in this. All right, hearing none, we'll close the nominations, and when your name's called, vote for either Commissioner Drew Hooker or Commissioner John Boutwell for the Rules and Legislative Committee.
Commissioner Boutwell, Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Mr. Hooker.
Commissioner Vick,
Mr. Boutwell.
Commissioner Pinson, Commissioner Brothers,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Boyette,
Mr. Boutwell.
Commissioner Yockey,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Hooker,
Hooker.
Commissioner Anderson,
Commissioner Hooker.
Commissioner Johnson,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Sanders,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Smith,
Boutwell.
Commissioner Maddox,
Commissioner Hooker.
Commissioner Neely, Commissioner Thompson,
Hooker.
Commissioner Fair,
Drew Hooker.
Commissioner Epperson,
Commissioner Hooker.
Commissioner Hooker, 8 votes. Commissioner Boutwell, 10 votes.
All right. The next committee then for consideration, we'll go to law enforcement where there's 2 slots to be filled on law enforcement. I defer to Commissioner Biff Fair.
They were 2 number 1 requests. Eric Maddox from District 1 requested law enforcement, and Jason Boyette from District 9 requested law enforcement first.
All right. So those were the 2 that had that as their top preference, and now we're taking nominations from the floor. Again, there's 2 slots to be filled here on law enforcement. I'm sorry? Yeah, can you, let's get through. Is there any other nominations? Yeah, there has to be a vote. They've got to get 10 votes.
There's no nominations.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. So nominations cease, acclamation, when your name's called, for or against, or are they calling the two names? How do we do in that parliamentarian? Okay. All right. When your name's called, vote yes or no.
Commissioner Boutwell? Commissioner Adam Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Vick?
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson? Commissioner Brothers?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette?
Yes.
Commissioner Yaki?
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox?
Yes.
Commissioner Neely? Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fair?
Aye.
Commissioner Epperson?
Yes.
Does anyone wish to change your vote? 18 ayes, 0 noes.
All right, so now we're down to the last of the 4 standing committees. That's Courthouse Committee. No one had made that their top choice, and so now I'll defer to Commissioner Becerra to make a recommendation of.
Okay, I believe, there's 3 left, and Troy Thompson, 3rd District, had no preference. He said he'd serve on any of the 4 standing committees. Drew Hooker did list Courthouse and Property as 2nd, as did, let's see, there's one more in here.
Commissioner Neely.
Yes, Diane Neely did as well. So, I submit those 2 names.
3 names.
3, to the 3 positions, yes.
Okay, all right.
We can do it by acclamation as well, if we'd like.
I'd like to make a motion to that.
Motion,
second,
acclamation, second to that, all right. So nominations have ceased, acclamation, when your name's called for, vote yes or no, yes to the acclamation.
Commissioner Epperson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fair?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neely? Commissioner Maddox?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker?
Yes.
Commissioner Yaki?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson? Commissioner Vick?
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell? Does anyone wish to change your vote? 10 ayes, 0 noes.
Okay, 18 ayes, all right. All right, now we're on to Law Enforcement Committee, nothing to report. Next, Courthouse and Property Committee, nothing to report. Now we're to Financial Management Committee. First item is Board of Education Budget Amendment Number 1.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion is second. We're open for discussion or questions. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next would be the County Budget Amendment Number 2.
Move to approve. Second.
All right, motion is second. We're open for discussion there. All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good. Next item is surplus with the Board of Education. I'm glad to see that it's removing portables. So we're excited about that. It reads
Make a
to,
motion to approve.
absolutely, reads to be 7. That's it. Wonderful. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then last, under Financial Management Committee, is surplus property of the county.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion second. Any comments or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item on the agenda, under other business, I believe it was Commissioner Hooker had come to the office requesting that this be placed on the agenda for consideration. This was to create a task force to study the homeless population.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to talk a little bit about this specific topic because this is something that we've seen as a steady rise in our community. I do know that the city has put together a group that has met over the last couple of years. I have spoke with many people on that group that feels like that they need to continue that and move forward with some additional resources. So with this, I don't want this to be looked at as any type of additional criminalization or anything towards these particular individuals. This is a idea to be able to help that population, as well as identify ways to benefit the county as we move forward to specifically focus on this particular population. As speaking with many people in the community, we're looking at 100 to 150 people in the community that currently would be considered in that particular group. And again, I just want this to be a group that looks forward down the road to identify ways that both the county and the city can work together to help mitigate particular issues that other communities around us are particularly seeing at the current time. So with that, I spoke with Commissioner Maddox to get support from an additional commissioner, and I would like to put that in the form of a motion to create a task force to study our homeless population and to identify ways that the county and city can work together towards resolving issues within our homeless population. This task force would meet monthly at the convenience of the majority of the members. This group would also make a recommendation to both the city council and the county commission, and would bring action items as needed. These members would be selected by the Rules Committee and made up of the following individuals: the city mayor, county mayor, city police administration, sheriff's department administration, 2 county commissioners, 2 city council members, 2 religious leaders, 2 social services leaders, city codes official, and county codes officials, along with 2 school officials.
Commissioner Thomas.
And I have spoken with some people, and I think the city of Shelbyville already has this task force in place, and it's a chartered thing. And I mean, some of you that's worked with them may know more about it. Could we not just tag on to their committee as well, or do we have to set up another committee, Drew? What's your thinking on that?
No, I have spoken with members on that, and I think that, again, this would have to go through the city council too before we could even move forward. But I do think tagging along with that group to be able to put some county officials on there as well, because I don't think this is a single issue with just the city. I think it is a community issue. We do have some additional resources that the city don't have that I think that we can work together to further mitigate the situation.
So your motion was to what?
Again, I guess I can alter the motion.
I just had a question.
Yeah, we don't have a motion and a second on the
Yeah.
floor, is why I was saying I need to get back to his motion and second, and then discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate Mr. Hooker's initiative in this, and we like this a lot. I think we ought to go ahead and refer it to Rules Committee and let Rules Committee take a look at it next week, and then maybe we can start the discussion from there if that's agreeable with you. If you want to pursue that, but I think let the Rules Committee, let all of us vet it a little bit. I mean, we don't know how much it's going to cost. We don't know who's impacted. We don't know if these people have been contacted. So, if with your permission, let's go ahead and refer it to Rules Committee if we can. Would it be this month or next month, Mr. Chairman?
It could go next week, or to the Rules Committee if that's what we need a motion second to do that. And you had a motion, but I don't believe there was a second on the floor. So
my motion is to refer it to Rules Committee then.
Second.
Are you accepting of that?
Yeah, I think that's acceptable.
Yeah, okay. And you seconded that, Commissioner Anderson? Okay, yes, we got a motion and a second to send it to Rules and Legislative Committee, correct? To be considered and discussed and gnawed on there? Okay, all right. Any other comments or questions then?
I've got one other question or comment or whatever. Biff, I'd like to know, and I can find out as well, how many are already on the city side of it, that task force there? Because you get 20 people on a task force, probably nothing's going to get done.
Yeah, Commissioner Maddox.
So just, I want to add to, so Commissioner Hooker, thank you for bringing this to the table. I just want to make sure that we take a look at not only the population of the folks in the city, but also in the county. Just to give a little bit of a personal, quick background. When I was a kid, I came from a broken home, and if it weren't for the kindness of family, I would be considered homeless. And looking back, I was at the time. So it's important to me that we also take a look at not only the city, but also some of our folks in the rural communities, as this impacts children, and that's dear to my heart. So if we can possibly make sure that that happens in this planning process, I would certainly appreciate it.
All right, and then I believe there was one, Commissioner Yaki.
Commissioner Pinson sent out a list of all of the agencies who help things. And I guess where I'm coming from, Mark, make sure that if we find out information, and Commissioner Hooker, to find out if everybody's involved, because all of these agencies, with the exception of maybe, you know, DCS or something like that, but they're involved in homelessness too, I'm sure. So make sure that everybody's involved with everything that could be offered and comprehensive.
Commissioner Thomas, let me get it.
One other, I would like to include the cities of Normandy, Ward Trace, and Bell Buckle, not just Bedford County. I'd like to take the whole county and everybody that's inside it as well and see what our issues are there.
Commissioner Maddox.
Commissioner Thomas, you're right. I agree, and thank you for that. You know, I just want to reiterate, too, that this is not, the thought process is not to criminalize any of these folks that are at this capacity. It's simply meant as an opportunity to help these people. Not everyone that's homeless falls into a negative category, and it should be criminalized at all. So I just want to make sure that when we take a look at this, that we're looking at the root of the issue and try to help these folks.
All right, and I'm sure the Rules Committee will make sure all that happens. Anybody else need to make a comment? We got a motion and second on the floor. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to quarterly reports. Clerk and Master, I don't believe Kurt's here tonight. Circuit Court Clerk and Driving School, she had a conflict, not able to be here tonight, but her information is in your packets. Certainly welcome to reach to her, or she'd be honored to come back on and answer any questions you might have. County Clerk is right here beside me, I think.
Okay, you see my one-page report there. I'll make it short, but it's very interesting because our total transactions through our office are up 9% from last year, but our total collections is down 7%, and that's because the state of Tennessee has offered a discount on tag renewals this year. So any tags that expired, non-commercial plates, that expired between July 1st of 2022 and June 30th of 2023 get a $23.75 discount. So if you haven't renewed your tag yet, if you have just a regular personal plate, it's $5.25 this year. So that has decreased our total collection significantly, but it has not impacted county fees. The state waived the fees. We still are collecting county fees. So because of that and some other things that have been implemented, revenue for Bedford County is actually up 15%. About $1,000 of that is archive fees. $500 of that is hotel motel tax, and then the state initiated a $3 earmark fee that stays with the earmark for county clerk needs, and that's so far this year is about $16,000. So we're doing many more transactions. We're just not seeing it in total collections this year because of that discount.
I have a question.
Commissioner Thomas.
As y'all know, that's my wife, but we don't get to talk a whole lot. Do you foresee the state of Tennessee extending this program into the next fiscal year?
I do not.
But now this program, everybody, it will extend through everybody to get one plate renewal at this discounted rate, correct?
Yes, every vehicle in your driveway that is not a commercial type plate will get the discount. But a heads up to you, it ends at midnight on June 30th. So if your tag expires June 30th of 2023, don't come see us on July 1st like a lot of people do. You won't get the discount. It expires June 30th at midnight. So just a heads up. And we've been trying to warn people of that so they're not upset with us.
But you can renew it early, meaning that if you're
Up to 60 days early,
60
correct.
days early, we're good, right?
Correct.
Good at piece of information there, Commissioner Anderson. All right. Anyone else have a comment or question? All right, well, thank you for that report. I believe our school superintendent is in the house, so step up and talk to us.
Good evening. I hope that you were able to see the 2 articles the Times-Gazette did this week on our accountability model. We are very proud of our teachers. One of the first things that the commission told me when I took this job about 19 months ago was we want a return on our investment. So our score in the accountability model was satisfactory. The scores or the levels are in need of improvement, marginal, satisfactory, exemplary, or advancing, and then exemplary. So we have scored in the middle. I think for our funding and the students we have, our teachers are doing an exceptional job, getting a great return on your investment. We are looking forward and close to going into the next category, and our dream and our vision is to be at the top for exemplary. And I think with TISA coming and the funding that we'll get from the state, we will have a great shot at getting that done. Our strengths were reading and language arts, especially in early literacy. We topped out in a 5 in that. Our growth areas are math and our chronically absent students. So I hope that you get a chance. If you've not had a chance and read those 2 articles, please let me know if you have any questions on that. I think with our math, one of the big factors is for 10 years, they have not had textbooks in high school. So we are working hard to make sure this next cycle we will adopt a math textbook, and I think that will make a huge impact on our scores, especially at the high school level. The Community High Edition is coming right along. We are scheduled to be on track with the opening next school year. Also, with Cartwright Elementary, we have passed the schematic design phase. We are now in the development design phase, and we will hopefully have some of our first numbers November the 1st, with a final number coming in January. The end of January is where we will be able to see if, hey, it's within our budget. So we could take all the good vibes because we really need this new school. And then we have our 2nd annual Workforce Summit coming up on October the 20th in partnership with the Shelbyville-Bedford Partnership. And we appreciate Mr. Vick and some of our commissioners who helped us get that going last year. Our teachers this year will be touring several of our plants and our industry partners so we can see how we can expand our work-based learning. We have a lot of great things coming up in the career and technical education. I'm looking forward to sharing some of those with our board in December, so make sure you tune in for that. And my next quarterly report, I'll be able to share that. Hopefully we'll have that approved then. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Commissioner Yockey.
We got rid of 7 portables tonight. How many more we got to go?
Those were at the old annex. The only thing we had used that for were our social workers. And what my belief is that social workers need to be in the schools, getting to know the teachers and the principals. So I want them out of those. One of the things they did was pass out some food and things like that. Those things are important. But right now, with some of the behavior and mental health concerns that impacted students during COVID, really needs our social workers to be doing small social skills groups and targeting individual students who have some mental health issues or some behavior issues. So that was the main impact on removing those. And they were very old. So we still have a lot of portables. One of the things that I'd love to come back with you soon, just have in your mind, we would really love to obtain the old TCAT building, and we really want to be able to build a wing on Liberty. We think if we're able to come in budget with the new elementary school, and then we come back with funding, we know that we built a community wing for $5.6 million. So we think that we could do maybe even less with Liberty because a high school is more expensive to build. And so if we come back with those 2, if we could get those 2 requests on our next time we come back, we would be able to get every student out of a portable.
Fantastic.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Dr. Garrett, thank you so much for everything you're doing. We were so excited to have you and a number of commissioners for the TCAT and the groundbreaking for that. And I know you guys are excited and you're working towards a workforce development plan to help us with dual enrollment. And so thank you for everything your staff is doing and what you're doing to help us achieve these goals, to help these kids find jobs and help our community grow together. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Well, you are welcome and thank you. We have fabulous staff. I'm telling you, the people and teachers that we have that are working hard every day are what will take our school system and our community to the next level.
Amen. Commissioner Pinson.
my compliments for the 675 students, fourth graders that came to the American Mule Show. They learned a lot about the mule and they loved it. To see a mule make their homemade ice cream, it was delicious.
Well, we appreciate you guys for giving our students opportunities. We're very excited. Some of the things that we're working on that hopefully will get passed with our board is we're looking at and I hope my farmer people may have to help me out. Is it Wagyu beef? We're looking at, with our money, building a barn at Cascade High School, so we will have a beef business there. We're looking at Shelbyville Central. We'll have culinary. We'll also have a dog grooming. And at Community High School, we're looking to build a site there that those students could use STEM and build tiny houses to create a business. So we have some exciting things going on in our career and technical education, also cosmetology opening up out there. So it's a very exciting time to be in education here.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any other comments for Dr. Garrett? Fantastic job. Thank you so much. All right. Next, is my election folks here? I didn't see Summer. Raise your hand if I overlook you. All right. Highway Superintendent had a conflict at the last minute, not able to be here. His report is in your paperwork. Property Assessor, I believe she's in the house.
Okay. We have had over 1,500 transfers in property this year so far. We have worked over 2,000 personal property schedules. Those are due we send them out the 1st of January. We get them back March 1st, and they have to be worked by May the 2nd. So all that's complete. We've had over 200 property splits. We've had over 100 plats recorded. We not only work for the county, but we work for the city too. Even though we're a county office, we are handling everything for the city. So we stay very busy. We are on task to look at over 5,500 parcels this year, plus all the new construction. I was out measuring and listing with our crew that goes out every day this last week, and there is not a place in Bedford County that there's not building going on. So I would like to invite any of you to come to the office, look at everything, talk, any questions you may have with appraisals. When we set property values in a reappraisal year, those do not change. Doesn't matter what the market's doing. Those values do not change for 5 years unless they've added something, taken something away, remodeled a house. So we may have something valued at $100,000. It might be selling for $300,000, but we don't make that appraisal $300,000. We have to hold to these values for 5 years. So again, I welcome any of you to drop by the office. Some of you have. I'll be glad to sit down and talk and just answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Rhonda Clanton? Got great staff. A lot of
Yeah.
times I'm able to call or pop in and they get me acclimated pretty quick when you happen to not be in the house.
They're very good.
All right, thank you so much for that. All right, Register of Deeds had a conflict, not able to be here tonight. Again, I believe his information is there for you. Any of these folks are happy to hear from you direct, or they'll come to the next meeting if you request them. And then Trustee was not able to be here tonight, and again, I believe she put her information on your desk for you to look through, and she'd love for you to come see her. And she'll show you how all that is laid out and how they arrive at the numbers that they come up with. All right. Looks like we're down to announcements. The one thing that I had written here for me was Bell Buckles Craft Fair is October the 15th and 16th. Is there any other announcements or anything that somebody can think of that we might have missed or left off? All right, I don't hear anything. Is there a motion to adjourn?